Looks like a crop circle. Like something landed there.
The government keeps many secrets.
Looks like the island I woke up on. Or where you were dropped off.
Is one of them the key to John Doe's identity?
What if I was abducted?
By aliens.
The season's biggest mystery.
What the hell is that?
Is just getting started.
My God.
John Doe, all new next Friday on Fox.
The 10 o'clock news is next, right here on Fox Rochester. In nature, speed and timing are crucial. And now you'll need both to get a great deal on a Jeep vehicle, since the Best Values in America event won't be around for long. So act fast to get great products, a great warranty, and great deals. 0% financing on the entire 2003 Jeep line, or up to a $3,000 cash allowance. So get to your Jeep dealer today, because timing is everything. Great products, a great warranty, and great deals all add up to the Best Values in America. Hurry to your Jeep dealer for details or visit Jeep.com.
Feel the fun with instant connections. Get a great deal from Time Warner Digital Cable. Start your favorite shows the instant you want with HBO On Demand. You're always connected with Roadrunner. Get digital cable, HBO, and Cinemax at 50% off for 3 months, and Roadrunner for $29.95 a month for 3 months. Instant happiness. Time Warner Cable. Now anything's possible.
I'm Dana Roselli. Tonight we fly over Rochester with Homeland Security volunteers, and suddenly it's a drive-through. Cops want to find out who did this.
And I'm Jennifer Gladstone. We'll have extended coverage of the Blitz Report. You think your government doesn't listen to you? Well, meet a woman who made them pay attention.
Good evening, I'm Dana Roselli. March 17th, 10 days from now, could be a critical day in the showdown with Iraq. The U.S., Britain, and Spain are proposing an ultimatum to Saddam Hussein: give up weapons by that date or face war. It was the topic of contentious debate at the UN today, but Russia and France are rejecting the plan outright, saying they'll do everything possible to keep the resolution from being adopted.
War is always an acknowledgement of failure. Let us not resign ourselves to the irreparable. Before making our choice, let us weigh the consequences. Let us measure the effects of our decisions.
Iraq is still refusing to offer what was called for by 1441, immediate, active, and unconditional cooperation, not later, immediate. Not passive, active, not conditional, unconditional in every respect. Unfortunately, in my judgment, despite some of the progress that has been mentioned, I still find what I've heard this morning a catalog still of non-cooperation.
And we'll have a complete report of the day's developments in about 10 minutes with News Central. Here at home, the Coast Guard is getting some help from volunteers. Area private pilots are taking their own time and aircraft to patrol our land and water against the threat at home. Kelly Badger went up on one of these patrols and has this report.
Controls checked. Flight instruments are set.
In Bob Fratangelo's free time, he is a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He uses his own plane and his own time to patrol Lake Ontario, the Gunay Nuclear Power Plant, and other areas.
We're coming up on Ronaquay Bay.
Bob and the other volunteer auxiliary members make up the largest homeland port security operation since World War II.
When we're in the air, we're looking at all of the power plants, the bridges, dams, any infrastructure in their inner ports and harbors.
Bob also looks for suspicious activity and people who are in distress.
While in the air, the pilots are also looking for the ice fishermen, making sure anybody on the water who needs help gets it.
Coast Guard Station Rochester, Coast Guard 414 on 23 Alpha.
Coast Guard officials say the auxiliary members not only save them money, they are a huge asset as well.
We rotate in and out, our personnel. The auxiliary, they live here. They're from the area, so they know the area, and there's continuity there. Plus, they're extra eyes. The nearest Coast Guard aircraft are in Detroit, over 2 hours away.
a job that this local volunteer loves to do.
Flying is great fun, and to do it to serve your fellow mankind and your country is even better.
Kelly Badger, the 10 o'clock news.
Now, for their time, the auxiliary members are reimbursed for fuel and insurance. All of the time spent patrolling is strictly on a volunteer basis. An emergency drill at Gannett earlier this week was reviewed today. Members of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and RG&E met this afternoon. The emergency drill included a fire, a loss of safety equipment, a plant evacuation, and emergency alert system notification. The NRC says the drill was conducted adequately and says it supported compliance with the NRC's emergency preparedness performance expectations. Locally, RG&E says more than 1,000 people contributed and says the feedback is important.
It's important that we get the feedback so that we can improve, because in the end, that's our objective, to improve our ability to protect the health and safety of the public.
RG&E says it will make sure all employees are trained and ready to react in case of an emergency. In any type of emergency, an ambulance responds, and in Henrietta, the volunteer ambulance says it's ready to expand. The ambulance company responds to thousands of calls each year. It's the only one in Henrietta and responds to calls at places like Marketplace Mall. But a lack of money is keeping it from growing. Members are asking the state for some extra money to expand, and this afternoon, Assemblyman Joe Arrigo toured the facility.
We are absolutely out of storage space, we're out of administrative space, and we've had to give up some of our bedrooms to turn into storage areas. So we are just out of space, and the facility is just terribly outgrown. It's probably 15 years beyond its design life.
Assemblyman Arrigo says he is looking for state grants that could help in the expansion process. The man convicted of sexually assaulting 3 separate victims got his prison sentence today. Robert Griffin was convicted in February on 16 charges, including rape, sexual assault, kidnapping, and burglary. Today he was sentenced to a total of 165 years in prison. 2 of his victims were young girls, one age 10, another just 4 years old. He was also charged with raping a 67-year-old woman. The village of Holly has fined Diaz Chemical thousands, but Diaz says it won't be paying. Diaz admits it violated its wastewater permit, but says it shouldn't be fined based on village law. Earlier this year, the Holly Village Board voted to fine Diaz $17,000 for its wastewater discharge violations in 2002. Village officials say local law gives it the right to demand the fine. Last year, a chemical leak from Diaz forced evacuations and exposed residents to a number of health problems. A Greece man woke up to find some damage to his house this morning. Someone had crashed into his home, but the driver and the truck that did it were gone.
I can't believe my eyes, I says. Somebody went through my garage door. I said, no way.
Anthony DiMarzo says he heard a big bang at about 3:30 this morning, but he thought he was dreaming.
5 o'clock, and I put on my light, and all of a sudden, I noticed my wall was busted in. I open up the garage door, and I find my car going right into the wall. My garage door was completely down.
But there was no sign of any other vehicle, only skid marks and damage. After assessing the scene, police identified it was a truck that crashed into DiMarzo's home.
After investigating, police determined the truck was coming down this road. It then drove through the intersection and right through the garage.
DiMarzo's car was parked inside, and the truck must have hit that, which hit the wall. DiMarzo says he hopes police find the person who did it, so their insurance company can help pay for the damage.
I can't open this door. The back part of it is all, even the concrete was cracked. I'll tell you, if I was sitting in that kitchen table, I would have had a heart attack.
Greece police are looking for a utility-type vehicle, possibly a pickup truck or SUV, dark in color. Anyone with information is asked to call the police department at 865-9200 or call 911. The warm-up is going to continue. We finally have a Saturday to look forward to. Let's get to our first look at weather with meteorologist Elizabeth Hart.
Dana, the satellite and radar showing the clear skies we had earlier in the day, then the clouds coming in this evening, and now a few snow showers following all that. A couple of flakes just west of the Buffalo area, and then we also have some snow showers moving across Lake Ontario, heading over towards Irondequoit Bay, but this is not going to be a big deal, just a few flurries through early tomorrow morning. Temperatures will be much more mild this evening than they were last night. We bottomed out at 3 degrees early this morning at the airport, so we're going to add several to that for tonight's overnight lows, 26 in Rochester, 25 in Pittsford, and even a bit warmer as you head back west into Genesee County. The real treat, however, comes tomorrow. We are going to see some phenomenally warm temperatures. We'll at least get into the upper 40s throughout most of the region, and then as you head back to the west in Medina, could even break the 50-degree mark. Things change a lot, though, as we head towards Sunday. Wouldn't you know it? It looks like it's back to winter, and we'll talk more about that in just a bit. Dana?
Coming up, the Make-A-Wish Foundation has a wish of its own, to break the chain in an emailed chain letter.
And I'm Jennifer Gladstone. Next, more on the historic day at the United Nations. And what will President Bush do next, now that the new UN resolution appears to be dead?
The 10 o'clock news brought to you by Time Warner.
Hear that? It's the sound of the explosive deal you can get during Time Warner Cable's Mega Movie Marathon. If you don't have cable, this is your chance to get over 200 channels of digital cable for just $39.95 a month for 3 months. Plus, get 32 premium movie channels free. 6 HBO, 9 Showtime, Stars, Encore, Cinemax, the Movie Channel, thousands of movies from the latest to the greatest free for 3 months. It's Time Warner's Mega Movie Marathon. Call to order now, 1-800-756-7956.
Kramer makes his first entrance.
Gotta be meat. Go hunt!
On the first Seinfeld ever. Tonight at 11 on Fox Rochester.
Welcome back, 340 horsepower. Say hello to modern technology. The new Infiniti M45. A muscle car with brains.
If you've been injured on a construction site, talk with Salino and Barnes.
Successful lawyers must have a sense of compassion, of caring. That's the business we're in. Helping people in need. Helping families whose lives have been turned upside down because of an accident.
We've dedicated our careers to representing people whose lives have been devastated as a result of the carelessness of others. At Salino and Barnes, we have a proven track record and the experience needed to achieve maximum results.
Salino and Barnes, 454-2020.
Thousands of light years away,
I have a plan for communicating with Voyager.
one generation of heroes reaches out to another.
We work on it together.
Desperate times call for a desperate rescue.
Stand down, Mr. Barclay.
Stop it! Star Trek Voyager.
Tonight at midnight on Fox Rochester.
And the consequences of Saddam Hussein's continued refusal to disarm will be very, very real.
But now the key word in the UN may be compromise. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Gladstone. Here's the latest from News Central. As America prepares for war, the debate went back to the United Nations this morning. Is war now the way to deal with Saddam Hussein? The day began with the chief weapons inspector's latest progress report, filled with information that both sides could use to prove their point. Bill Prasad tells us it was then the foreign minister's turn to wage words about the possible war in Iraq.
The White House continues to clash with friends and an enemy. Today, U.S. allies and a UN report made Bush administration officials bristle. More than 100,000 U.S. troops poised to attack, but the chief UN weapons inspector says hold on. Hans Blix says Iraq is showing more cooperation, providing documentation and destroying some of its Al-Samud missiles. Blix wants inspections to continue, at least for a few more months.
It will still take some time to verify sites and items, analyze documents, interview relevant persons.
The UN Security Council also heard that there is no evidence that Saddam Hussein has revived his nuclear weapons program. Moments after the report was delivered, Britain presented a resolution that would give Iraq a March 17th deadline to comply with inspections. But France, Germany, China, and Russia stand firm, opposing any deadline that would trigger war.
The progress of last few days have shown we have efficient alternatives to war in Iraq.
If the Iraqi regime were disarming, we would know it, because we would see it.
Last night at a news conference, the president made clear his patience with Saddam Hussein, some allies, and the United Nations runs thin. At the UN today, the Secretary of State repeated a sense of finality.
That it is time to deal with that basic reality that Iraq is not complying.
Powell says next week he wants the UN Security Council to vote on the resolution that sets a deadline, setting the stage for a face-off between the U.S. and its allies.
Many political observers say before a war would start, President Bush would issue an ultimatum to Saddam Hussein. That would be followed by another statement by Hans Blix. He'd be telling his inspectors to get out of Iraq. In Washington, I'm Bill Prasad. Back to you.
Now look at where the U.S. stands as far as the new resolution. In favor of the use of force, the United States, Great Britain, and Spain. Opposed to war, Russia, France, and China, and those three have veto power. If they choose to veto, this measure is dead. Also opposed, Angola, Cameroon, Chile, Germany, Guinea, and Syria. On the fence right now, Bulgaria, Pakistan, and Mexico. The U.S. needs 9 votes to pass the resolution. Right now, they have 3. We're joined now by Dr. Niall Gardner of the Heritage Foundation in Washington. Dr. Gardner, on the same day that the Security Council is meeting to review the disarming of Iraq, there are new reports out that a French company's been selling Saddam Hussein spare parts for his fighter jets and other weaponry. I'm curious as to what your take is on this development.
This should come as no surprise, of course. The French have been selling arms, of course, to the Iraqi regime going back for about 20 years. This, of course, is one of the key reasons why France continues to oppose military action against Baghdad. And France, of course, is, I think, doing its very best at the moment to keep Saddam Hussein in power.
So if this has been an issue all along, why does it not come up at the Security Council meetings? Why is it not on the front page of every newspaper every day?
Well, I think, unfortunately, the UN Security Council is turning a blind eye to the extensive economic and military involvement of France and Russia.
And I'm looking at some facts from the CIA fact book, and it lists France selling arms, Germany selling arms. I'm curious as to why nobody on the world stage has been trying to stop this if it is blatant and it is illegal.
Much of this takes place under the guise of the UN Oil for Food program. And the United States and Great Britain have successfully blocked a large number of financial initiatives by French companies who have sought to invest in Iraq in recent years. But unfortunately, the UK and Britain have not, UK and the US have not succeeded entirely in preventing French firms from investing in Iraq.
When you put France, Germany, Russia, and China together, they account for more than a third of Iraq's imports. What does it do to their economies if we do go to war?
I don't think that it will have a serious impact on the economies of these 3 countries. But it needs to be borne in mind that in the long run, a post-war Iraqi regime is likely to freeze out the Russians, the French, and the Germans from any role in the post-war reconstruction, and they will also, I think, refuse to honor any contracts which were signed under Saddam Hussein.
The items France has allegedly been selling to Iraq are spare parts for the French-made Mirage F-1 jets and Giselle attack helicopters. According to U.S. intelligence officials, the parts were smuggled into Iraq as recently as this past January. There are reports that 2 of Osama bin Laden's sons have been captured. If that is true, the White House does not know about it. Pakistani officials are claiming the sons may have been wounded and captured in a raid in Afghanistan. Officials at the Pentagon, though, say if the raid did take place, there is no proof of U.S. military involvement, but they did not rule out the possibility of a CIA operation. Taking steps to help schools deal with terrorism, Homeland Security Secretary Tom Ridge and Secretary of Education Rod Page visited a Maryland school today to announce a new plan to keep schools safe. The project includes crisis response training, equipment, and better coordination with police and fire departments. There's also a website that helps teach people how to deal with disaster.
It's designed to be a one-stop shop. And so we invite schools all across the nation and community agencies and organizations all across the nation to visit this website. We think this will be something that's going to be very helpful for all of us.
The website address is www.ed.gov/emergency plan. An emergency plan is one word. A 2-year-old girl was kidnapped at gunpoint today, spurring a multi-state Amber Alert. The child, Angela Rivera, was taken from her mother during a carjacking this morning in New Jersey. The suspect is believed to be the girl's father, and police say they think her life may be in danger. The father and daughter were last seen on the New Jersey Turnpike. Police believe they're headed for either Florida or Brooklyn, New York. Brenda Van Dam never wants another family to have to endure what she went through when her daughter Danielle was abducted and killed a year ago. She's now working on a new legislation called Project Kids Safe. The project includes 12 bills that propose things like making it a death penalty case if you murder a child under the age of 14, requiring sex offenders to wear a GPS monitoring system, and giving more money to police who are trying to catch those who download child pornography. Some unkind words came out of the Congressional Budget Office today. The nonpartisan group does not like the president's proposed tax and budget plan. The CBO says Bush's plan will drive the deficit to more than $1.8 trillion over the next 10 years. The plan includes more than $1.5 trillion in tax cuts. A dark cloud continues to hover over the job situation. New numbers show unemployment rose to 5.8% in February as companies cut more than 300,000 jobs. That's the largest cut since right after the terrorist attacks in 2001. If you saw the president's news conference last night, you know how carefully he's choosing his words. But inside the White House, there's a new PR effort to get those words heard around the world. Reporter Dana Bash takes us inside the room with the message.
Let's call roll, see who's here, and get started on the day.
It is 9:30 a.m. Every day at this time, this team inside the White House coordinates battle strategy with its troops on the ground. No military brass here. This is a different kind of war. It's the war to win over public opinion around the world for President Bush's policies.
There is a possibility of meetings here on the White House grounds with Iraqi expats. This is to put a human face again on the tyranny of Saddam.
The new Office of Global Communications, established to promote Mr. Bush's message to international audiences. The message these days, all Iraq, all the time. Staffers craft a daily email with talking points sent to reporters and public information officers at embassies around the world. Pushing America's message abroad is not new. Woodrow Wilson did it during World War I, Ronald Reagan during the Cold War.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
But this president has to tackle technology like the internet and satellite TV. They keep track of daily government events and public appearances of cabinet members and make sure senior Bush officials accept offers for interviews in key countries they're trying to influence.
I think that's old Europe.
Despite the effort, some see the administration's rhetoric as arrogant and insensitive, hurting the White House cause.
A way to determine that our communications plan to date has not been working is the fact that in Europe right now, the protesters are coming out and demonstrating against George Bush, not against Saddam Hussein, and clearly it should be the other way around.
We are here not so that America is loved, although millions around the globe do love America. It is so that our foreign policy is understood and the democracy, the democratic process through which it's arrived at is better understood, and therefore our values are better understood.
The White House is planning to open another office in the Middle East. We have more news next, and why one school is banning the 3 little pigs.
And later, one woman's story. She'd had it with her government, so she did something about it. But first, the point and the disappointing database.
Federal law requires the addresses of convicted sex offenders to be verified at least once a year. But a recent survey found that more than 77,000 sex offenders are missing from the databases of 32 states. The other 18 states and the District of Columbia were unable to account for the status of their 133,700 offenders. A telephone survey of all 50 states by the Parents for Megan's Law Child Advocacy Group found that states, on the average, were unable to account for 24% of sex offenders supposed to be in the databases. 33,000 of the missing were in California alone. The survey identified Oklahoma and Tennessee with the highest rates of noncompliance, both at 50%. Enacting Megan's Law is one thing, but government bureaucrats failing to enforce it makes the law meaningless. That's the point. Go to newscentral.tv and tell us what you think. I'm Mark Hyman.
Only Tim Hortons coffee lets you play roll up the rim to win. Fun to say, but why the rolling R's?
This new contest is called Roll Up the Rim to Win.
That's so fast. There's not enough R's in there. It's roll up the rim to win. Okay.
It's as fun to say as it is to play. Roll up the rim to win at Tim Hortons with 30 Buick Rendezvous, 100 Panasonic DVD theaters, $500,000 in cash prizes, Raleigh mountain bikes, and millions of food prizes. So get rolling.
During Clover's Best Buy sale, you'll get huge savings, make no payments, and pay no interest on financing for 12 full months. Choose from 10 luxury spas, priced as low as $15.88, but no more than $39.99. 5 big spas are priced under $29.99. A complete pool package is only $8.88, including pool, liner, filter, and ladder. Plus installation on any size pool, only $99. Smart shoppers will get their best buys on pool tables from $8.99, bars from $3.88, bar stools from $19. Huge savings on foosball and air hockey, only at Clover.
If someone in your family has been seriously injured, talk with Salino and Barnes.
When we visit with a client at the hospital, we're often overcome by the seriousness of the accident, the injuries, the extreme hardship.
Maybe that's why at Salino and Barnes, we've been so successful. We care enough to fight for our clients. We represent severely injured people, and we are determined to achieve the highest possible settlement.
Salino and Barnes, 454-2020.
Plagued by 9/11 and a sinking economy, our state budget's in crisis. But is Governor Pataki's plan the answer? He'd make drastic cuts in education, meaning higher property taxes, and slash nearly $2 billion from health care for seniors, kids, and the working poor. There's a better choice for New York's economy. Limit these cuts by closing corporate tax loopholes and asking the wealthiest to pay a little more. Won't New York be stronger if we all share the burden?
Today, finding a job can be challenging. And the first step in getting to work is getting to an interview.
Thanks, Phil.
Good luck. I'm Bill Nojay. As volunteer chairman of RTS, we want to make sure we're doing all we can to make your life easier. That's why we've started Jobs First. If you have an interview for a new job, we'll send you a bus pass so you can get to the interview and back home again free. Because finding a job is hard enough. Getting it shouldn't be.
It's Toyota's nationwide spring sales event, where value begins with an all-star lineup of quality Toyota SUVs. Take home any of our hot-selling Toyota SUVs for an incredible 2.9% APR financing, 2.9% on RAV4 and Highlander, and you can even get 2.9% on the larger, more powerful 4Runner. But this low rate won't last, so don't wait. Get to Toyota's nationwide spring sales event, where value begins with quality. Get the show on.
If the idea of living in the city interests you, then you may want to check out City Living Sundays. Local realtors announced the sites for this year's event. City Living Sundays is a cooperative venture between realtors, banks, and the city. They're promoting the advantages of city living and showing off the great homes currently on the market. City Living Sundays runs 3 weekends in March. The first, this Sunday at School Number 7. You can learn more on our Fox On site, sponsored by Roadrunner. You'll find more information at foxrochester.com. An organization that makes wishes come true for children with life-threatening illnesses has a warning tonight. The Make-A-Wish Foundation says chain letters are going around asking for help, but they are not valid. Stephanie Simo is following this story. She joins us now. Stephanie?
Well, Dana, hundreds, possibly thousands of letters are going around the Rochester area. Local businesses are being saturated with them. They tell a story about a little boy named Craig who has a brain tumor and wants to collect enough business cards to get him into the Guinness Book of World Records. A very touching letter. Unfortunately, it's a hoax. Workers with East Coast Electric thought they were supporting a good cause when this letter came in the mail. It says 7-year-old Craig has a brain tumor, has little time to live, and is asking the Make-A-Wish Foundation to help him get in the Guinness Book of World Records by getting people to send business cards and keep the letter going.
We thought it was for a good cause, so we attempted to send it out to some of our associates and have them contacted so they could help out.
The helping got out of hand. The chain letter East Coast Electric received was a fake. That meant the letters they were sending out were fakes, and so on and so on.
We just thought at that point that it was kind of rude that somebody would send that around when you're trying to help out for a good cause.
Good afternoon, Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is Jenny. It's just kind of a waste of time for everybody. There are all these businesses locally that have tried to help.
Make-A-Wish says it first heard about a little boy named Craig about 14 years ago who did go into the Guinness Book of World Records for receiving more than 16 million greeting cards, but he was not part of their organization. In fact, Make-A-Wish has a policy that specifically states the foundation does not send chain letters.
It's unfortunate because I think people are really trying to help out and they're just trying to be good-natured about it, but we have to take time out to answer all these questions when we should be fundraising and we should be granting wishes.
Make-A-Wish says the letters and the business cards end up going to a recycling center in Georgia. And though the hoax is relatively harmless, it's deceitful.
I probably wouldn't have gotten involved in something like this, and she thought it was a good cause too. So we said, we'll do it. So we did, and then it was just discouraging that after the fact we found out it was a waste of time.
Now, East Coast Electric says it took them about 6 hours to retype the letter and get the data bank going of the other companies that wanted to get involved, not to mention the postal charges. Make-A-Wish officials say if you get a chain letter from them, go on to their website at www.wish.org. They have a whole section dedicated to the latest Make-A-Wish Foundation phonies going on around our area. Dana?
Okay, thanks, Stephanie. But we're going to visit the tropics when we come back. It's supposed to warm up, but one group can't wait. Their story coming up after the Futurecast.
The Simpsons, King of the Hill, and Seinfeld. Weeknights at 6 on Fox Rochester.
Right now, the one and only place to save is Kaufman's one-day sale. Save an extra 60% on all winter sportswear for her and him. Don't miss the Carter's baby sale. Plus, all furniture is on sale. Find superior values on Sag Harbor jackets, $19.99. Quilts of any size, $29.99. And John Ashford polos, $12.99. Get a free gift with purchase from Clinique. Use your extra 15% off coupons on your entire purchase. The one-day sale, Friday and Saturday only at Kaufman's.
Need a car, but you need a down payment first? No down payment, no problem. Now at Auto Choice, tax time is car time. Bring in your W-2s and we'll do the rest, turning your refund into a down payment on a great quality car. Tax time is car time. Get fast approval on the car you want and get your taxes done now. Good credit, bad credit, we'll get you financed. No down payment, no problem. At Auto Choice, tax time is car time.
If someone in your family has been seriously injured, talk with Salino and Barnes.
When we visit with a client at the hospital, we're often overcome by the seriousness of the accident, the injuries, the extreme hardship.
Maybe that's why at Salino and Barnes, we've been so successful. We care enough to fight for our clients. We represent severely injured people, and we are determined to achieve the highest possible settlement.
Salino and Barnes, 454-2020.
Welcome back to the 10 o'clock news. Well, we started off today with some unbelievably cold temperatures, but we did make a fairly decent recovery. 3 was the overnight low. It was 2 off of the record of 1 set back in 1960. 38 was the afternoon high, though, and we were just 1 degree off of the seasonal norm. No snow, no rain yet, but it does look like we'll see some flurries overnight. Cloudy skies now at the airport, 29 degrees the air temperature, a light west-southwesterly wind, and the pressure at 29.98 inches of mercury, and it is falling. Overnight lows, woo boy, they're going to be like a heat wave compared to what we had last night. We'll dip down into the mid-20s throughout most of the region, and we'll hover just below the freezing mark, I think, back into the western suburbs. Southwesterly winds coming in at 5 to 10 miles per hour through the day tomorrow. Sunshine is going to come back, at least for part of the day. and the temperatures are going to be incredible. We're calling for a high of 50 in Medina and Darien, a little cooler down to the south, 46 in Caledonia, 47 in Pittsford, 48 in Rochester, but these will be the warmest temperatures we've seen in quite some time. They're not going to last, however, and neither will the sunshine. In fact, we have a few snow flurries on the radar right now. They will be pressing into Buffalo, working through Wyoming and Genesee County here in the next couple of hours, but this is not an accumulating type snow, just enough to produce a few flurries here and there. So you can see that band of snow extending back into southern Canada and also moving into northwestern sections of Pennsylvania right around Erie and back towards Jamestown. They will see a couple of snow showers overnight tonight. Next weather system is going to come in from southern portions of Canada and dig through the Great Lakes. Temperatures warm enough to produce a rain-snow mix in portions of the Ohio Valley, but as you can see, just enough lift here over Lakes Erie and Ontario to see a bit of snow activity. Off to our east, just east of Watertown, Oswego, and Syracuse, we are looking at a band of snow now pushing off to the east, and that will push through New England as we work through the next several hours. So here's the setup on the surface chart. We had an area of low pressure and a stationary front down to our south that was kicking up some showers as far northward as the Chesapeake Bay, but high pressure is going to push that down to the south. We get one nice day out ahead of the next approaching frontal system with some sunshine and some much warmer temperatures. As that front approaches, we're going to get a strong southerly flow, so that's really going to crank those temperatures up. But the cold front will be moving through Saturday night into Sunday. May start off with a little bit of rain and see that change over to snow, but there will be a sharp change in the temperatures as that all happens. Enjoy tomorrow. Partly sunny skies, temperatures up near 50 degrees, and then Sunday the snow comes back. Nothing heavy here, just sort of a nuisance snow, but boy, it will be cold and it will also be very breezy. 23 for a high on Monday with partly sunny skies. We do start to moderate Tuesday, Wednesday into Thursday. We're back up to the freezing mark by the end of the work week, and we should see sunshine by this time next week also. Dana?
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. Well, there's 2 weeks until spring, and that means spring break is just around the corner. But today in Pittsford, they couldn't wait, so they brought the tropics to them. Steel drums rang through the halls of Pittsford Middle School as they celebrated the tropics. The students dressed the part and did the limbo and other games for prizes. The school principal says the entire school got involved in the decorating and planning.
Rather than complain about the weather and moan and groan about it, we decided we wanted to do something about it, and we just decided to take the whole school and move it south into the tropics.
Well, the school principal says having a good time is important for the middle schoolers. He says the tropical theme was a big hit. Later tonight, another team named their price. Now they have Fearless. Details plus the Amers coming up in sports.
Pound 31 is a free call on your Verizon wireless phone for tips to the 10 o'clock news.
Before we opened our new Honda dealership, we'd spent many weeks installing an online customer information center, rethinking the showroom experience. We even built a special express lane to make oil changes quick and easy. And this cat showed up, started snooping around. Shelley, our receptionist, started calling him Tiger. It's funny because we designed the entire dealership with a customer in mind, but I guess it must also be attracted to cats because I don't think Tiger's leaving anytime soon.
Hi, I'm John Scheer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. You know, after teaching people how to operate their computers for over 15 years now, I'm amazed that there are still people that don't have computer skills, like Windows, word processing, the internet, and email. If you're looking for that new job, or maybe it's just balancing your budget, or even helping your kids with homework, these aren't handy skills to have, these are essential. If you're having trouble learning the computer, I'm going to help you out with a free learning lesson of your choice from Video Professor. Let me show you how simple this is. You put the CD in your CD drive. The lesson plays just like a video on your computer screen. The best part about this offer, this is free. You just pay a small shipping and handling, and I'll even refund that if you're not satisfied with my product. It's free, the risk is free, so what do you got to lose? Try my product.
To get your free computer learning CD, you must call now. Call 1-800-894-1897.
In Salsbury, Maryland, small-town politics is reaching a whole new level. When one businesswoman discovered she couldn't fight City Hall, she decided to fire City Hall. Jeff Abel of News Central Baltimore shows us how one woman's revolt is on the brink of making history.
Welcome to Buddy's Shell, where the air is free
And he would give it to you.
and the owner knows you by name.
Then there's Mr. Modine.
For 23 years, owner Brenda Cox has fueled the community and kept the shine on Salsbury.
I have lived here so long, and I just love this place.
There's one item. But last summer, the people who lead this city angered the woman who does business in this city.
I went to him one day and I said, look, why can't we just straighten this mess out?
But what sent Cox into action was the probe of this city's police chief. The council had chosen to hire a private attorney to investigate what Cox believed were far-fetched allegations against the chief. For months, the city probed, and with attorney's fees mounting, Brenda Cox's fuel had struck fire.
I cannot believe that I sat in here and worked for 23 years and paid taxes to the city of Salsbury, and then the city of Salsbury turns around and blows the money that I worked so hard to make.
With liberty and justice for all. So Cox decided every elected leader at City Hall must go, from Mayor Tillman to Councilman Day, Polk, Scott, Ziggers, Webster. If she couldn't fight them, she'd fire them.
These are the petitions.
On Election Day last November, she launched a petition drive in pursuit of 30% of registered voters needed to recall City Hall.
It was funny because people were saying, my God, there's more people at the recall table than there is voting.
Since November, Cox has earned thousands of signatures and hundreds in donations to fuel the campaign.
It hurts tremendously.
City Councilman Michael Day says the recall drive, now in its 4th month, is beginning to harm the city.
Hurting the city in the fact that now everybody's using it for anything, any reason that you have a problem with a council member, you're going to recall them.
2 weeks ago, the city of Salsbury issued the chief an official apology. The $96,000 probe had proven nothing but costly.
Certainly, I would like to have seen that avoided, but I do think, in all deference to the council, that there were some serious allegations brought to their attention.
How can they just blow the money away like that? It's just not right.
Brenda Cox says she's now a few signatures away from making recall history.
So close, I could probably sneeze it out.
A city in waiting on a woman whose patience has tanked. In Salsbury, Maryland, Jeff Abel for News Central.
If successful, the recall drive would be the first in Maryland history.
A school teacher in England is defending her decision to ban the Three Little Pigs because it might be offensive to Muslims. The storybook, along with others referencing pigs, are being removed from classes for kids under 7 at the Park Road Nursery School. The majority of students there are Muslim. So to be sensitive to their religion, head teacher Barbara Harris wants no references to pork or pigs. Ah, the good old days. Some Russian communists want to bring them back. In particular, they want to bring back Stalin by cloning him. His body has been preserved, and Communist Party chief Gennady Zyuganov says if the Soviet superpower had been preserved, the U.S. wouldn't be going into Iraq. And when you think of adopt-a-highway programs, Rotary clubs, and scout troops come to mind, right? Well, a stretch of highway in Michigan is being adopted by NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. One of the members says she wants to change the stereotype that NORML is a bunch of pot-smoking burnouts who want to get high. Detractors are just hoping they'll remember to show up for road cleaning duties. And that's Get This. I'm Morris Jones.
I don't know if a lot of people show up for the road cleaning duties. They get their names on the sign and they just leave it there.
Is that what that? See, all I noticed about that last story was that lady going with the thumbs in the pants.
There
I didn't know
go.
people did that
it's
anymore.
It's a good look for you.
Do you like that?
Yes.
I might adopt that one. Coming up in sports, Junior tries to prove he's still a stud, and some record-breaking riches handed out in the NFL. Your local sports is up next.
We're talking with Bob Barefoot, author of Death by Diet
And the calcium factor, is everyone calcium deficient?
By the time the average American's 35, he has more calcium going out of his body and into the body, and that's when it starts. By the time he's 60, about 98% are totally calcium deficient. The real key with calcium is it does not want to absorb in the human body. But you know, there is a substance out there where you get 100% absorption. And America hasn't heard about oral calcium. You just can't believe the miracle of calcium because you're a calcium critter. You're more calcium in your body than all the other minerals put together.
What is a good form of calcium?
We say, do what the Okinawans are doing. They're getting 100%, and we see with just 3 little capsules a day, absolutely miraculous.
You think that's one of the best
results.
forms of calcium to consume?
It's the best absorbable. You not only get the calcium, magnesium, and 70 other trace metals, you get marine microbes. Coral calcium will become the nutrient of the 21st century, I guarantee you.
Call the number on that screen. This is important for your health.
Last night, I dreamed I was at the auto show. At the Chevy display, it was the coolest. New cars, future cars. What could be better than this?
How about zero APR on a 2003 Cavalier, Impala, or Monte Carlo? Or GM owners and lessees get $3,000 total cash back plus a $500 auto show bonus for a total of $3,500. This bonus cash offer ends March 15th, so hurry. See your local Chevy dealer today.
During Clover's Best Buy sale, you'll get huge savings. Make no payments and pay no interest on financing for 12 full months. Choose from over 20 sets of outdoor casual furniture priced as low as $3.99, but no more than $9.99. Get a 5-piece Tropitone set for just $7.99, but only while supplies last. A complete pool package is only $8.88, including pool, liner, filter, and ladder. Plus installation on any size pool, only $99. Our best-selling bar is only $3.88, and bar stools start at just $19 during the Best Buy sale, only at Clover.
Well, the Amerks returned to home ice tonight to face Hershey. Rochester got off to a great start, scoring 2 goals in the first 6 minutes of the game. Chris Taylor and Milan Bardovic scoring to make it 2-0 Amerks. Rochester on cruise control from there, beating Hershey 6-2. Indoor lacrosse action, the Nighthawks traveled down the thruway to face Buffalo. The Bandits beat Rochester, though, 12-10, the final score. Blue Cross Arena will be busy again on Saturday with high school basketball. 4 state quarterfinal games tip-off beginning at 2 p.m. McQuaid plays Niagara Falls at 8:45. Advanced ticket sales continue at the box office and through Ticketmaster. 2 big stories from the Buffalo Bills today. Wide receiver Peerless Price has been traded, and the Bills have signed Bengals linebacker Takeo Spikes to an offer sheet. Cincinnati has 7 days to match the Bills' offer. Spikes is considered one of the top defensive players available on the NFL free agent market. We turn things over to Sports Central now for more on Peerless Price and the rest of the day.
Hey everybody, Mark Armstrong here at Sports Central. You know, to his credit, Karl Malone has never shied away from speaking his mind. Bad thing is, his sense of timing could use a little tweaking. While most of the country is sweating an impending war, the mailman's worried about getting paid for Olympic duty. The Utah Jazz jackhammer compensated for his first 2 Olympic appearances, and along with Ray Allen, is wondering why that practice has ended, given the fact that USA Basketball and the NBA will make quite a bit of money from team sponsorships. Both guys say they'd play for their country anyway, but wouldn't mind a little scratch for their trouble. I say tell it to the guys who are dodging bullets. By the way, Mr. Malone and the Jazz at home tonight, taking on C-Webb and Sacto. The mailman gets it going early on. This is his bread and butter nowadays. The fall-away flat-footed jumper knocks it down. He had 8 in the first quarter. Jazz down 2. This was a seesaw battle. C-Webb gets it going with the old run 2 defenders into themselves play and then dunks it down. Same position on the floor. This time against the mailman. Knocks the layup down, plus the foul. Mailman would have to go to the bench with his 3rd foul. John Stockton still doing it at age 40. Slices through the lane for 2. Sacramento, though, leads this one in the 4th period right now, 72-68. Wizards and Bucks, I'm sure Michael's got world peace in his day planner. You'll get to it just as soon as he gets the Wizards into the playoffs. Trying to do his best tonight as they took on the Bucks at home. Coast to coast like Stockton did. Pulls up, little fall-away jumper. 27-9 on the night for MJ Acrobatics. Desmond Mason came over in the Gary Payton trade. Shows what he does best, the junk. And then too much ET in this one, though. Sam Cassell knocking down the jumper. He had 24. That was the game winner. Bucks win it 85-82. Peerless Price was certainly good, but Peerless in Buffalo, not quite. After all, his wide receiver mate Eric Moulds was the one Bill wideout who actually went to the Pro Bowl last season. Things have changed now that Price has moved his catching act to Atlanta. The Falcons picked up the young deep threat today in return, shipping their first-round pick, the 23rd overall, off to Buffalo. Price's new deal in Atlanta, 7 years, $42 million, $10 million of which he got up front.
He's definitely going to bring to us what you try to do at all positions, and that's a threat that everyone's going to worry about. He's a guy that can touch the football and go the distance.
Now it's time for me to get ready to go win the championship, learn the offense, and come here and work hard.
Staying with football, Jason Sehorn may just have to content himself with being married to Angie Harmon and having many millions of dollars. Fairly easy to do if you ask me, because the footballing part of his career is almost over. The Giants released him today. The move will cost them $8 million against their cap next year. Speaking of $8 million, Buccaneers today making Simeon Rice the first $8 million a year defensive player in NFL history, as they agreed to a 5-year, $41 million deal with him that includes up to $20 million in bonuses. The Milwaukee Brewers have become the first team to ban supplements of all kinds in their clubhouse. Catch here is that even the team admits it can't enforce the rule, because all drug policy is determined by the union and commissioner's office. As for the players' union, they released a memo to all 30 teams today strongly discouraging the use of products containing ephedra. Thanks for the hint. The memo spurred by a similar warning last week from the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, for the actual on-field action, little trade talk all Junior needed to get going. He blasts not one, not two, but a troika of bombs today against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The third one, which came in his third at bat, a grand salami. The Reds, by the way, won the game 11-5. Now, to the pucks, where a full set of teeth and a scar-free face probably means you haven't been trying hard enough. And after tonight, I bet the Flyers' face is looking about as grizzled as a newborn baby. Why even put on the uniform if you're not going to show up? Roman Cechmanek, a rough night tonight. Rangers get it going right off the bat. Radek Dvorak, Jamie Lundmark goes short side on Cechmanek, 1-0. It is 2-0 when this play happens. Crashing the net, it's Dan Lacouture, and then he gets the passes. He gets out front. Cechmanek flopping around like a little baby, not doing anything about it. Watch it in replay, too. He gives up on the play, sits down. Oh, yeah, we're still playing here, Roman. 4-0 after that one, 5-1 the final in this one. More hockey action. Tampa, you can windsurf at the daytime and watch hockey at night. Avalanche looking like they're going to roll. Milan Hajduk, number 40. 3-0 in the first period. Tampa Bay doesn't give up. Dave Andrzejczyk is about 125 years old. Knots it up at 3 in the third. And then still more lightning. They come all the way back. Brad Richards to Frederick Modine. That's your winner. 4-3 is the final. Now off to NASCAR. A circuit so hot that one sponsorship just won't cut it anymore. Hence this weekend's Bass Pro Shops MBNA 500 in Atlanta, because nobody runs up credit card debt like a backwoods fisherman, and nobody drives quite as fast, at least on this day, as Ryan Newman, second-year man, averaging over 190 miles an hour to win the pole. That'll do it for news, sports. More news coming up next.
Quality summer camp and summer activities for Rochester families. Fox Rochester and Genesee Valley Parent Magazine present the Camp and Summer Activity Fair, Sunday 11 to 6 at the Mall at Grease Ridge Center.
If someone in your family has been seriously injured, talk with Salino and Barnes.
When we visit with a client at the hospital, we're often overcome by the seriousness of the accident, the injuries, the extreme hardship.
Maybe that's why at Salino and Barnes, we've been so successful. We care enough to fight for our clients. We represent severely injured people, and we are determined to achieve the highest possible settlement.
Salino and Barnes, 454-2020.
Well, I was born in a small town, learned to live in a small town. You took me on. Kind of music just soothes my soul.
Live it.
I reminisce about the days of old.
Love it. The best of the 70s and 80s. 98.9 The Buzz.
If you're a small business owner or entrepreneur, you should attend the Small Business Show, Soho, Rochester, Tuesday, March 25th at the Riverside Convention Center. See over 120 displays of products and services for small business. Get free tickets at SohoRochester.com or call 232-2610. It's the networking event for small business, Soho, Rochester. Sponsored by Staff Leasing, Integrated Marketing, Fastnet, MCSI, Charter One Bank, Business Strategies, Wham 1180, Lamar, and Fox Rochester.
It's Toyota's nationwide spring sales event, where value begins with an all-star lineup of quality Toyota cars.
Right now, you can get the lowest possible finance rate on Corolla and Matrix, 0% APR, or take $500 in cashback savings, or lease for an amazing $159 a month. Two of Toyota's biggest stars, 3 ways to save, 1 place to go. Get to Toyota's nationwide spring sales event where value begins with quality. Get the show on.
The Royal Ontario Museum invites you to experience elite elegance, couture fashion in the 1950s. Dior, Chanel, Givenchy. View a stunning array of garments, accessories, and film footage from this fascinating post-war era. This exquisite exhibit ends May 4th. The ROM also offers a world of hidden treasures, ancient wonders to explore. See the best collection of Chinese art in the Western world, or come face-to-face with dinosaurs, mummies, and more. Journey to the Royal Ontario Museum and rediscover the world. Call 416-586-8000.
Journey back to a magical time.
I don't like the sound of that cough.
An era when miracles were around every corner.
Oh yeah, just let them breathe.
This was the time of Oliver Bean.
Oh my God, you're killing each other!
Oliver Bean.
Premieres Sunday at 8:30 on Fox Rochester.
Now let's take another look at the stories that made headlines today. The U.S., Great Britain, and Spain want to give Saddam Hussein a date by which to disarm. March 17th or face war. It was the subject of contentious debate at the UN today, with Russia and France strongly opposing the resolution. They say Iraq is showing cooperation with weapons inspectors. It turns out private citizens are playing a role in homeland security. They are members of the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, and today they took us up above Rochester to show us how they patrol. The pilots are patrolling Lake Ontario, Guinea, and other locations on a volunteer basis. They're part of the largest homeland port security operation since World War II. Police are looking for whoever did this to a Greece home overnight. Actually, not that. You'll see the damage in a moment. Someone drove a pickup truck or SUV into a garage on Bromhall Drive. The car was hit inside. It sent the car into a wall. If you have any idea who could have done it, you're asked to call 911.
Dana, we have a beautiful Saturday ahead of us. It will be a bit chilly to start things off, down into the mid-20s, but by late in the afternoon, we'll warm into the upper 40s, possibly even hit the 50-degree mark. Sunshine prevails until late afternoon, and then we'll start to see a few more clouds filtering. And then Saturday night into Sunday, it's back to winter. Rain changes over to snow, and that snow activity persists through the day on Sunday. Highs only in the 20s. Clear on Monday, but chilly. Highs in the low 20s. We do start to moderate a bit temperature-wise as we work through the middle and latter portion of the week. We should stay dry Thursday and Friday with highs in the mid-30s. Dana?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Now here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow's 10 o'clock news. A silent protest against smoking in movies. Teens from 6 area counties gather in Rochester. Plus, the high school basketball regional championship continues. Teams play the Blue Cross Arena tomorrow night, including McQuaid, and we'll have highlights. Football star and East High School graduate Roland Williams is at it again, helping young people prepare for the future. The Rochester native teamed up with the Summit Federal Credit Union for a financial literacy program. It's a lesson about money mixed with fun. The program teaches 25 local kids important financial fundamentals. 6 consecutive sessions take place every Friday. After class, the students get dinner and 2 free games of bowling.
More and more today, kids are getting barraged with credit card applications, being asked to manage their money at a much younger age, especially a lot of these kids, they'll be working any day now. And we want to see them be successful.
Sounds good. And thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 10.